Alright, welcome back to the channel, people. So today we've got a Shang Chi showcase in the monthly side event quest. I think this is the week 3 quest. And yeah, it's just Shang Chi blitzing through an entire lane and boss so cleanly, like barely any health lost. And yeah, could have done it all by himself, and did technically. I mean, the team with him there does absolutely nothing for him. He gets maybe 10% extra attack from Nicky Fury, and I think some extra crit rating from like a Mole Man and Mr. Fantastic synergy. But that team was just originally thrown together to handle like all the paths, but then as I started this path I thought, you know what, let me just do the entire path with Shang-Chi and make a video out of it. And so yeah, here's that video. The link on this path is weak in the knees, so you are having your attack reduced by 30% if you do not have a debuff up on the opponent. Of course, those debuffs can include stuns, so when you parry them, you're doing damage. But Shang-Chi is also great because you can do the stun Wushu for the extended stun, and that's a debuff. Or you can even do the slow Wushu, and that's also a debuff, so you're keeping a debuff on them that way. You've also got the Hulk Striker, which will place a weakness debuff on them for, I think, 6 seconds, something like that. I think as well, if you do a certain like light ending combo, it lasts a bit longer. But I didn't really think I used the Striker too much, to be honest. It wasn't really needed. Shang-Chi puts in the work. Now this first matchup, it actually does help a bit because you can't slow a mutant. So this is, I think, the only mutant on the lane, and as a result, no access to the slow debuff. But we still have the stun Wushus, we still have usual parries, and of course the Striker Hulk. And yeah, this is just going to be a nice quick one of him just taking so many different champs and then the boss fight, and yeah, just really showing how versatile he can be. Loads of different things going on. Of course, you know, you don't need to use all the Wushus, but I try to, you know, if there's no specific set rotation, I just try to fit in as many as I think I can to obviously get more chi charges. But yeah, the main thing in this path is just to focus on keeping the slow up as much as I can. And yeah, that's the main thing, because then he's got the debuff on him for damage. Of course, it's a side event, so it's nothing too tricky, but the boss fight will get a bit more interesting, so I will come back to commentate on that one. But for meanwhile, just enjoy watching how cleanly and quickly he blitzes through this entire lane. Okay, so now on to the boss fight. It's a spider hand boss. And yeah, the nodes on him include Matador, which means every time he throws a special, you gain a bar of power. So that's how you bait out your specials. Yeah, pretty simple node Matador. Not sure I know of anyone who has problems with it. Node. Right, so he's also got best defense, which means he gains more evade chance. And yeah, also gets 30% of a bar of power every time he does evade. Weakening in the knees is still there, so of course if you don't have a debuff on him, you're going to have your attack reduced by 30%. And yeah, there's also something called Taunter's Expertise, so your crit rating is, I think, doubled every time you throw a special. However, once you throw a special, you then lose power rate. You get a Stifle, I think it's called, on you, and that causes your power rate to drop. So the main things here are keeping those cleanse charges up. I go for those first, and then I get the slow up and go for a stun Wushu to reset. And that's pretty much the rotation I'm going to go for here. So as you can see, I've already reached 2 bars, get my slow up on him. Then I'm like, right, let me get the cleanse to get rid of the power stings so I don't eat a ton of damage, and I get my special 2 off, get some nice decent damage. This is another thing with Shang Chi to remember, is you don't always have to go for the kill with a special 2. You can, use them fairly regularly rather than just building up to like one massive special 2. And there you see as well the special 1 actually getting used, which reapplied the slow, but it was mostly just to try and finish him off there at the end. So pretty comfy stuff for Shang Chi, great champion, and yeah, hopefully people who maybe don't rate Shang Chi highly enough are watching Campo. Fuck you. So yeah, hope you enjoyed.